What if I tell you that the quotes winners never quit and quitters never win? It's absolutely not true. Because sometimes it's okay to quit. Beyond being okay to quit, sometimes the right thing to do is to quit. This is thoughts in transit, but this is this thought at 30. I've had many experiences in my life that I had to give up, I had to quit. I bet to say there are many people right now that the right decision, the best thing you're supposed to do right now with where you are, whether a job, a career, a relationship, is to quit. But the reason why you won't quit is because many reasons, what will people say? Oh, I already told people I'm going to do this. Or even just the mere idea of if I quit, then they'll think I'm a failure, So let me give a story. Of course, this series is from lessons I've learned, the last couple of years. So of course, I'm going to use a personal experience. Sometimes in 2018, I kind of packed up Life Giver Radio. And Life Giver Radio ran for about 2 years. We had an amazing experience. We had OAPs, we had shows, morning drive, afternoon shows. We had OAPs, we had a studio, we had an office space, we had equipment. Things were going pretty well. I had amazing people that were committed to the vision. It was amazing. We had the best feedbacks. I could bet that we had the best playlist on any radio because we were appealing to young Christians. People were saying, "Are you telling me that there are these good, songs that are sung by Christians?" And yeah, after a while, I said, stop it. Why did I do that? We were at the point where I asked myself some set of questions. One is, we had OAPs, amazing people, and they were committed, but they were not being paid, or they were not being paid well. And Live Radio was not profitable at the time. And I looked at the business model of what the media space was at that time. I'm like, as at 2017 to 2018, was the advent of streaming platforms becoming more popular, and internet was becoming cheaper and more accessible. And I asked myself, how would I rather consume my content? Would I want to stream a radio station, an internet radio station? Raya, what is it? I asked myself, okay, do I want to stream, an internet radio, or I want to have control what I'm listening to? I want to be able to pick my own song. And if I have Apple Music or Spotify, and I can literally just pick any song and shuffle anytime, then if I want to listen to talk show, there's YouTube, there's the podcast there. So, of course, this is usually summarized. There were many reasons why I just said to stop it at that time. And I remember generally our Live as a brand at that time had this crazy huge boost when we started Live Radio. We're like, oh my God, you guys have a radio. We even forgot that we've had a blog for a while. It looked big. It looked like I was doing something, So it was a radio that made us have the first office. We had, our staff, we had people coming in. We had creatives. It was huge success. Like to the outside world, people were like, wow, man, you guys are doing big things. I'm proud of you. We had a soft launch. People came around. It was cool, and they were like, oh my God, that's Tolu, the Live Radio guy. That's Tolu, Live Radio guy. And to the outside people, it was a good thing. Yes, we're doing great things, but we had so many challenges, good internet, broadband, was cool, Anyways, I don't want to go into that. But at the time, I knew that Live Radio had to stop, and it had to give way to something else. It had to be morphed into something else, something more sustainable, something beyond even sustainability. I've seen many people doing good things and doing amazing things, but doing it for just themselves. We have a way in which can create a narrative that appeals only to ourselves. And this does not even apply only to career or business. Sometimes relationship, you're in a relationship and you know that this is not working, this is not going anywhere. But because your parent already knows him, or your friends already, you've posted each other's picture on Instagram or social media, then everybody knows you with it. So if I stop now, they will say I'm a quitter. But like in inside of yourself, that this is not working anymore. You know that I don't want to marry this person, or if I marry this person, I'm in for trouble. But out of what will people say, we decide to continue. I've seen many people, literally suffer in silence or go in debt just because of the what will people say. We've had, opportunities and times where God literally gives an instruction and say, stop this thing. I think I'm so grateful with some of my friends I've had, like I can talk to them and they'll say, and I'll be saying, I'm the kind of person that when I have ideas, like I want to get it done. I'm a doer. Like let's do it now. Person. But I'm talking to some of my friends, and they're like, Tolu, this is a good idea, but I don't think I want to do it. I don't think it's for now. And I'm just like, what do you mean? I know this thought is not coordinated, but ask yourself, what exactly? Why exactly am I still doing this thing? See this. Don't buy a dog. You have to ask yourself, why and about these words, she just had a bad this morning. And you have to ask yourself, why exactly am I doing what I'm doing? Review yourself. Don't get me wrong, there's a sense to that advice that is true. If you're going to be successful at something, you definitely face challenges. You will definitely have tough times. And if you don't have the resilience to push through that tough time, and you just always give up at the initial, resistance or opposition or challenge, of course, you won't achieve success at anything. Everyone that has achieved success at anything in life had a period of difficulty, So you have to have that resilience and the tenacity to say, oh, you know what, I need to do these things, the right thing to do, regardless of, the difficulty. Like I've said, I've had my time, with Life Giver. I've had a period in which all I was blogging with was a broken BlackBerry Touch 1. It was bad, but because I saw the feedback and people were being blessed, so I continued at it. But when you probably, maybe for instance, you start something, you start a business, just, a trial, okay, let me look for other multiple streams of income. Let me make an attempt at this thing. And then you start, and it's not working. You've pumped money to it, you're losing money, you're not making profits. Instead for you to sit back, reevaluate and say, am I supposed to actually continue doing this thing? Is this the right move right now? Then, like I've had a period in which I was applying for postgraduate course, and I was pushing. By the time I started myself, Tolu, why do you need this thing? A lot of times we run away from asking ourselves difficult questions because we're afraid of what the answer we might get. You are afraid that the answer you get might not be the one that you really like or the one you want. You know that if you like critically evaluate your relationship, the answer you get is get out of it. But you don't want to, so because you don't want to face yourself, you don't want to face the truth, you continue regardless. See, enduring and persisting at something is not necessarily the mark of success. It's not necessarily the mark of success or being a winner. Sometimes it's pure foolishness when you continue at something that is obvious failure. Or, Pastor makes a statement. He says, I can't remember exactly how he put it, but it says it's a great tragedy, or it's a great tragedy when you're successful at something you're not supposed to have started at all. Because success is not always the mark of, how do I put that? Success is not necessarily the proof of God's approval. I've seen people make endeavors. In the Bible itself, people do things, launch attacks that God is not in it, but they're still successful at it. So getting results or seeing success is not necessarily the proof of God's approval. Sometimes you're literally leading yourself. And because there are structures and systems that make things work, if you are hardworking at something, if you have the right, resources and everything, you will seek success. You see success, especially even if it's something people like. But you have to come to the point to say, is God really in this thing? Does God really want me to do this thing? Or am I just the one that is desperate about doing it? You have to ask that question. We're in a system now where the fear of missing out, or the fear of what people will say, or the crave to get people's attention, people's people's thumbs up, people's validation, is one of the leading things, or those are the leading things that inspire and motivate what people are doing now, not necessarily purpose. So the need for validation, the need to look like, oh, you know what, in this Gen Z, we all have to be doing something. Everybody wants to be an influencer. So that's what's driving and pushing you, not necessarily purpose. You know that this is Raya. Stop it. You know that this is for yourself. This is not for God. This is FOMO. This fear of missing out. I know yesterday in church, I preached on this, and I used the example of King Saul when Samuel, the prophet, told him, said, wait for me to make the sacrifice before launching the attack. But he saw people leaving him. He saw the soldiers, his army, they were leaving him. And out of fear that all of them are going, there's attack, he didn't wait on God's instruction, and he did it regardless. And that's what many people are doing today. Is, oh, this person is doing this person has this, everybody's leaving everybody's, am I the only medical doctor in Nigeria? Then you want to also follow suit. Oh, am I? Anyways, the goal of this is to say, evaluate what's doing. When you know it's time for you to quit, that's fine. Not every idea are meant to run forever. Not every project. I've seen people, very important, I've seen people launch initiatives, launch a project. The goal is, no, I just want to feed 100 people. And after feeding 100 people, you know in yourself that you're not supposed to continue, you're supposed to stop. But then because you had each success at it, and everybody's saying, do it, then you want to continue. It's okay to say, all God asks you to do is just to do one, just to sponsor one person, and that's fine. Of course, when you have the opportunity to do more, weirdly, it might seem contradictory, but I say that a lot of times, if the goal is to glorify God, God will always back it up, But a lot of times, when we search deep within, the mind is not to glorify God, is to glorify yourself, is to make a name for yourself, is to also say, you know what, I want to put founder, CEO, beside your name. You want to put initiative created by, you want to also put an handle on your Instagram bio of something you two started. It's okay to not be that. So I hope I left you with something. I hope we can ask ourselves more questions. I hope we can be more sincere with ourselves. At the end of the day, what really matters? What really, really counts? Is it what people say really, or is God saying, well done, my faithful servant? Are you being faithful, or are you just doing it for yourself? If you're busy on an assignment that the master didn't send you, you're going to reward yourself. There's no reward for it for the master. But what you won't realize is you will have wasted time, doing that, and instead of what you should really be doing. You have wasted time saving yourself while missing out on what you should actually be doing. And at the end of the day, even if the whole world celebrated today, when you stand before God, are you still going to be celebrated for it? I hope I left you with something. And while I'm waiting to keep recording Tease Thought at 30, I think I'll have some other thoughts that might not be like full-length thoughts, just 2-3 minutes. I'll be recording them in between and be posting them as well. Remember, you can listen to this on YouTube or my podcast platform, wherever. Plus, my podcast is called Tease Thoughts in Transit. Tell somebody about it. Share this, because I know that this is a wisdom. This is wisdom, or what I'm sharing there, the wisdom that would help many people. I believe that. Thank you so much. Yes, I think we can do lots more. Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's important for me to just say this. So, one thing, Live Radio was amazing, man. The memories are amazing. And Live Giver Podcast, just check on Instagram at Live Giver Podcast. We're launching Live Giver Podcast, not just a general talk show, interviews and many other things. And we'll be starting with recordings from Live Radio. So if you didn't know Live Radio by then, you can actually get a good glimpse when we launch Live Giver Podcast. So you can follow now. I think from this week we'll be sharing stuff. All right, so you'll see you in the next one. I think it was pretty long. From me and Raya.